Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here,
And AdvBlueDude.
and welcome to 21st Century Music, the show where we examine some of our favorite albums from a very modern perspective. So how are you, AdvBlueDude? How you doing?
I am good.
You're good. Just
Yes.
good.
I'm
Not
just
great, not
not great, not bad. I'm just
right.
nice, healthy, good.
All right. So we've been on a little bit of a break from 21st Century Music. Let's see, what was the last album we reviewed, AdvBlueDude? Was it the Wax Fang Pink Floyd stuff?
Yeah, I think it was the astronaut and animals.
Yeah, okay, cool. So, so we're back. This is a review that actually we've been meaning to do for like a month, and it just kept getting pushed back.
Yeah, I kept getting pushed back.
I think you went on you had like family over for a week
Yeah.
or something. Oh,
Yeah.
God. But we're here, and we're finally here to talk about it. Not necessarily the biggest album in the world, not necessarily the biggest, most critically acclaimed, or most listened to, highest charting, anything like that, but definitely definitely a personal favorite of mine. One of, y'all know that I love my concept albums and rock operas, but this is one of my favorite albums that just straight up, I like it just because every song is just rock solid to me. And we are talking about Built to Spill and their second album, There Is Nothing Wrong with Love. Yes, this came out in September 13th, 1994, featured Doug Marsh on vocals and the bassist, vocals and guitar, bassist Brett Nelson, and drummer Andy Capps. So AdvBlueDude, this is your first exposure to Built to Spill. So
Sort of.
what was your, what?
Sort of.
Well, what have you heard before?
I've heard Reasons before.
You've heard what?
And Reasons.
Oh, okay. Oh.
And probably other ones.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Okay, so still from this album.
Yeah. I didn't realize that it was Built to Spill.
It's kind of an interesting little song to start out on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Built to Spill, they're an interesting band, and this is one of those bands that has always polarized a friend of mine because I very much love their more poppy stuff. I think when they just get into straight indie pop territory, their songs are just like golden, and it's absolute perfection to me. It's almost like I kind of compare them a little bit to maybe like a band like the Shins. Not the most complicated music in the world, and not the most eloquent music in the world, but definitely just has an air of simplicity about it. I love that simplicity. And I wish more bands would kind of go for it. It's kind of like the opposite direction of what we usually talk about with Pink Floyd and, Wax Fang and concept albums and rock operas and yada, yada, yada. This is more just way stripped back. And this is just like, there's nothing wrong with love. And we're going to give you 10 love songs to tell you that.
Yeah.
This album is very much, I would consider it an incredibly loose concept album, incredibly loose, only in the fact that each song kind of has the same sort of theme, but they're kind of riffing on the theme in a bunch of different ways. So obviously the album's about love. And so each song kind of builds on that idea and what is love? What constitutes love? What does love mean to different people? So it's a very simplistic album that has some pretty deceptively complicated undertones to it. That's how I describe it.
Yeah.
But AdvBlueDude, what's your first kind of reaction to this music?
No, I mean, it seemed like relatively stereotypical indie rock. Music-wise.
How dare you?
Well, excuse me. Well, I mean, I think
this band, along with Modest Mouse,
I think
defined
that's
the indie rock genre in the 90s.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is that it sounds like a lot of other indie rock. Not to say that they didn't set the precedent.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I just want to make that perfectly clear. I get that at times, the interesting thing about Built to Spill is that, to tell you the truth, they're more sort of like indie pop territory is not explored that often. That is why this album kind of stands out to me in their discography, is because it really does embrace the pop side of their music. Most of the time with their music, and this is what my friend and I are very split on, most of the time they get into more existential territory, like they literally have a song that's like 8 minutes long called "Randy Describe the Universe." Songs about 7-minute songs about not hurting a fly. Just really grandiose, sort of like almost Pink Floyd wannabe sort of. I don't know. It's like I can definitely appreciate the effort that they put into the more sort of sprawling album releases that they do. But to me, it just doesn't come together as an album as much, because certainly with their other albums, there are definitely songs, like there's definitely at least 1 or 2 songs from each of their other albums that I can like kind of cherry pick and be like, oh, these are really good Built to Spill songs. But the rest just kind of washes together for me, and I don't get that at all with There's Nothing Wrong with Love. Like, for me, There's Nothing Wrong with Love it's just like, I can't really describe it any other way, but I just think that there's just not a dud of a track in the bunch. So I guess, as we like to do here on 21st Century Music, you want to kind of take it track by track?
Sure.
All right. You want to switch off on tracks? You take us through the opening?
Sure. See if I remember the opening. The opening song is In the Morning.
In the
by
morning.
By Built to Spill.
Right. Oh yeah, what do you think of this? Good way to start it out?
Yeah, it's a nice song. I like it builds at the beginning. I like how it builds at the beginning.
Yeah,
Good
sure.
Yeah.
There's definitely I could relate to this song a lot, that just the whole like I'm waking up and I actually feel like not like shit. That's sort of an unusual circumstance for me. That's kind of what the song is about. The song is kind of about like embracing those rare days that you're actually at your best.
Yeah.
I love where he calls it like isolated incident. Because it's I don't know. I very much can connect to that. But I do. You like the break in the song where it goes all heavy guitar?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do.
Yeah, the whole song's I really like the end.
Oh yeah. The end's great.
Yeah.
When I get that feeling like I'm gonna start, I just have to stop.
Yeah.
Oh, nice way to start the album. Do you think it's a pretty good like get you out of bed and get you going type of song?
Yeah, I suppose.
Just pop your headphones in when you wake up. It's nice that it's like right at the beginning of the album. I feel like it's a perfect way to start it out. So all right, so then we get into Reasons. I feel like this is going to be a very short video because it's like all these songs are just like, yeah, these are really pretty songs.
Yeah. It's a nice song. Next one.
So Reasons, this is I guess this is the only one you've heard, right?
Yes.
You haven't heard anything else besides this?
I mean, I probably have, but I don't know it yet.
Like I said, there's some choice tracks I could pick out that aren't from this album that are ridiculously good, but this album is just the only one that flows as a whole. At least in my humble opinion. So Reasons, I really love the structure of this track. It's it does kind of follow a verse chorus, but I love kind of the progression of it, where it starts out and the guy is just madly in love, and he's just like, you get all the feelings of just like young lust. Let's see. So let me see. I have most of this album pretty much memorized, so let me see if I can pull out some of the lyrics. Like, you arrived when I'm on fire to explode, but you inspired. Second air and sewed on smiles in the right of all days. I don't know. I love the line, you arrived when I'm on fire. Great way to kick it off. just a really good love song. Just again, just not much to say because they're all really good love songs. Anything in particular you want to mention?
No, I mean, I just, uh, it's a really nice love song. No, I mean, I really like this, the sections in between each of the verse. It's hard to
Oh,
describe, where there's like that chorus and then it just drops into the verse.
right,
Yeah,
yeah, it kind of drops like
yeah,
silent for just a second. Yeah,
yeah.
all right.
It's a really nice love song.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. All right, and then we get into you want to talk us through Big Dipper?
Oh Christ. Yes, I can try.
Try.
Uno momento. Let me pull it back up. I'm pretty sure I've heard this one too.
It wouldn't surprise me if you've heard this one because it's
I'm sure I have.
one of their more popular songs.
Yeah, it's a really nice song. It's very somber, but it's still a love song. It's a very nice love song.
It's funny that you say it's somber because that's one of the things I like about it is that you're absolutely right. This like the lyrics are definitely somber, but it's one of those great songs where it's a somber source material contrasted against just a super jumpy instrumental job. Because you've got like those guitars and they're like all twangy and stuff, like almost like kind of surf guitars or something like that. And they just give the track just sort of this life to it, even though
Are you sure?
songs what?
Yeah, what I'm listening to is like it's like even the music, it's really somber and slow and drony. At the beginning at least.
Well, I don't. Are you sure we're listening to the same song? Because with
Yeah,
this,
Big Dipper.
I've
Yeah,
always
you get the
thought
car, I'll get the knife. It's like a guitar going do 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 do. Yeah, it's going like it's really low and kind of at least to me. And it's all relative really, but yeah.
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting how the two of us can kind of like interpret an individual song in a different way like that. That's kind of fascinating.
I mean,
It's always kind of been a little bit of an uplifting. It's always kind of been like a song about sort of going back to your childhood and like no matter how shit life seems on the surface right now, you have to kind of pull back and look at that little kid who was fascinated by the I love the line that brontosaurus lying on its back up in the sky.
yeah.
Just that
Oh,
line right there just sums up what being a 90s kid is.
now it picked up.
Kid is actually going outside. Being a 90s kid is being fucking obsessed with dinosaurs.
I found the pickup.
What?
I found the pickup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's still a little it's still a bit somber to me, but
Yeah, yeah.
definitely more upbeat than it was at the very beginning.
Yeah, I get what you're saying at the very beginning for sure.
Is this the song with the cello, or is that another song?
I think you might be thinking of
I'm sure I'm thinking of another song.
Cleo, perhaps.
Could be.
I think you're thinking of Cleo.
Probably.
Yeah, just one more thing. I really cannot get over the line. Thought an Albertson stir-fry dinner would make his apartment a home.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but just for some reason that line just really, really resonates me with in a powerful way. Oddly enough, I think it kind of connects back to childhood because, like when I was growing up in Roanoke Park, we had an Albertsons right down the street from us, so we go there all the time, and naturally, of course, sometimes we'd order stir-fry dinners. And now Albertsons doesn't even exist anymore. Or does it? Does Albertsons exist where you are?
I've never even heard of it.
Oh, okay. Well, fair. Case in point. Have you heard of Lucky's where you are?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
That's funny. Like the two big, I'm sure Safeway, right?
No.
You guys don't have Safeway?
Not that I know of.
What the fuck? This would make an interesting podcast topic all by itself. Just like the differences between West Coast and East Coast, and like just the different franchises.
Oh, there's an incredible difference.
Because Safeway is like the top grocery store chain here in the west side of this country, I guess. That's very weird that you guys don't.
We have Stewart's.
What do you have?
We have Stewart's. I can get eggnog in July, and it's fucking great. It's really the only gas station of note. It's
I'm
really
not
the
talking
only
gas station. I'm talking straight grocery stores.
Yeah, I know, but a Price Chopper. Price Chopper's nice. The Price Chopper in our area has a food court.
No Rayleigh's, no Costco.
There's Costco in the area, but not by me.
Okay. Well, Costco kind of sucks anyways.
But hey, they have the best cheap alcohol in the world. It is the name of our apartment at school.
Oh,
we have named our apartment after their brand, and it's beautiful.
Okay.
Kirkland.
Well, anyways, back on topic. Talking about fucking grocery stores.
Grocery store liquor.
Oh yes. Oh boy. Okay, so now we get to Car. And I think Car is most certainly the most popular song on this album. Like, just from a radio play standpoint, from a just fame standpoint. What do you think of this one?
Let me pull it back up again. Car. That sounds nice. I like the 12-string guitar.
Oh yeah. I like the progression of the lyrics. You know, I like how it's kind of broken up into two different parts. And once again, it's kind of like similar to Big Dipper, because you know, you've got like kind of a very somber sort of beginning, like you'll get the car, I'll get the night off. And then it just builds and builds, and then it kind of breaks. It kind of has a midway break, and then it goes into like, I really love some of the lines in this song. Like, again, I think I'm way more of a lyrics guy than you are. I think that's
I mean, I focus more on the music.
Yeah, but with me, it's like I love lines like, I want to see it when you find out what comets, stars, and moons are all about. Let's see. I want to see movies of my dream. Who doesn't relate to that? Who doesn't relate to a guy yelling, I want to see movies of my dreams over and over and over?
Yeah.
Like, at least people who are creative. If you have an ounce of creativity in you, you want to see movies of your fucking dreams. So that's just a universal thing for me.
Yeah.
And then I love the moment when it breaks, you know, right after the movies of your dream stuff, and then it just goes into, I want to see it when you get stoned on a cloudy, breezy desert afternoon. Just because I love the detail in that. I love how vividly he paints that sort of picture where it's like, you know, it's not just a clouded afternoon. It's not just, you know, it's cloudy and breezy and you're in the desert.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know, just god damn it. Like, it's hard for me to even put in words. To me, it's like it almost feels like just scribblings out of a journal or something like that. I feel like that's very deliberately what Doug Marsh is going for in the lyrics. But I apologize for going overboard with it.
No, it's okay. It's a very nice love song.
Yes.
This is the song with the surprise cello.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So this is definitely probably the most steep song in the whole album, so take it.
No, I just like how, like, it's weird because the other songs, most of the other songs, I think there's one with saxophone somewhere, but like the whole album, it starts out with just like guitar and drums. And
just basic indie guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just suddenly cello. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh god.
Yeah, but it's a very nice love song.
Fling is I don't know. I I've never been able to figure out what popping off 3 times a day to popping off 2 nights a week means. Is it
I'm sorry?
sexual? Is it
Repeat the line again?
related? Do you have any idea?
Can you repeat the line again?
Uh, since my fling with you times went from popping off 3 times a day to popping off 3 nights a week, that's always puzzled me.
It could be sexual.
I'm betting it's sexual. I am betting it's sexual.
It's probably sexual.
So
It's
basically,
probably
it's like,
very sexual.
so basically, it's kind of like, fuck, man. Like we went from having sex like 3 times a day, and now I'm just jerking it like 3 times a week. What gives?
Yes.
Oh my.
Yes.
Yeah, I love how low the notes on the guitar get. You know how well, no, not low, just they get very high actually. You know, they get like I don't know. It's very it's hard to even explain. It's very wispy, the song.
Mm.
It's very like it's definitely like it's very airy. It's very like spatially in the song, in spite of the fact that there's like this cello and all that. It's interesting because it feels like there's a lot of space to the sound. Am I making sense at all?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so then we get to Cleo. Cleo is definitely the most interesting source material of this album. Have you figured out what this song's about based on the lyrics?
Let me pull up said lyrics. Google. Cleo. It's loading. Wiggly Day. Any song that starts out with Wiggly Days, Wiggly Nights is a winner.
Oh my.
Start prelude so you can see what sounds straight through my spine. Bound stuff makes me around 3D sound, push it down, move it around, see I'm fine. I don't know.
It's about an unborn fetus.
Ah!
Yeah. Yeah. And that makes it to be probably the most complex song on the whole album.
Oh, most definitely.
It's the most vivid sort of and sort of the most outside the box interpretation of love.
Mm.
You know, the idea that this this unborn child is feeling emotion. Like I love, they have lines. They have a lot of references like "Ain't it strange that I can breathe? Ain't it strange that I can dream? Ain't it strange that I have brain activity?"
Yeah.
So basically, it's just all about sort of like the miracle that it is to bring children into this world, and childbirth and everything. And
Yeah.
I think it's a very powerful song. It's not necessarily my favorite song on the album. It's not one of my favorites, but I think I just give it a lot of respect. I give the source material, I give the subject matter a lot of respect, and the fact that they had the balls to do it. And it's definitely one of the more thought-provoking songs on the album. Anything to say from a musical standpoint?
Not really, no.
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 Want to take over next song?
Sure. Let me pull back up because I'm bad at studying. The next song is The Source.
Yeah.
It's very introspective at the beginning.
What?
It's very introspective at the beginning. And as I am noticing with most of these songs, they start out very simply with guitar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There seems to be a pattern with all of these songs.
Well, I think that kind of fits into the overall what makes it such a satisfying album, at least to me, is that they all do feel very deliberately put into, into context. I agree with you that there definitely is a bit of a pattern, and,
Yeah.
like I said, very much a through line when it comes to the subject matter and when it comes to the theme. I don't know. To tell you the truth, The Source is probably one of my least favorite songs on this album. That's not to say that it's bad or I dislike it. I just think it's a little disjointed and it doesn't exactly know what it's trying to say, I guess, or at least I don't really know what it's trying to say. Like I said, of course, I'm more a lyrics guy than you are. That's very well established, of course. Anything you have to say from a musical perspective about the song?
Not really. I mean, like the other Built to Spill songs, it's relatively simple.
Yeah.
But it's a very nice love song. I'm sorry, I'm driving that joke into the ground.
I do like the part where it kind of breaks into the alternate history sort of stuff, mostly I love the line that Kennedy will duck. I don't know, I have a sort of a thing for John Kennedy references in songs. I love it because I think that it's just there's a lot that you can do with it. I love Vampire song Diane Young. There's a line about Kennedy I will survive, baby, naturally, but you got the luck of a Kennedy. And I'm just like, that is such biting sarcasm right there. I love it. I love it.
That's a really good insult.
Yeah, isn't it? Isn't it? But yeah, so I don't know. Kennedy is one of those things that I always think it's a nice spice to add a reference to him in there because his name represents a lot of different things and emotions.
Yeah.
But all right. Anyways, so now we move on to quite possibly my favorite Built to Spill song ever. This thing is fucking beautiful.
Twin Falls.
This is probably the song that I recommended Built to Spill to you on. It's a minute and a half of pure, simple nostalgia and emotion, and it just gets to me every time I hear it.
It's different from the others.
Oh my. Well, yeah, that's because it's only a minute and a half.
I'll be damned.
Different.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really melodic.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of We're Gonna Be Friends by the White Stripes. I am not a big White Stripes fan at all, quite frankly. I think a lot of Jack White's sound is lifted straight from bands like Zeppelin. Hey, blues rock. I'm gonna do that and call it my own sound. Because no one's ever done blues rock before. And yeah, I don't get why Jack White is praised as some fucking revolutionary. It's to me he's one of the least creative guitarists. But that's so good.
Well, you forget Seven Nation Army is one of the best songs for any middle school.
For any middle school, yes.
Yes. That song bothers me. It's one riff for 7 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. That's what bothers me about the White Stripes in general. But anyways, this isn't a White Stripes conversation. Just the simplicity of the song. If you don't mind, to recite it. Christmas, Twin Falls, Idaho is her oldest memory. She was only 2. It's the first time she felt blue. Cafeteria, Harrison, elementary. Beneath a parachute, I saw her without shoes. 7-Up, I touched her thumb and she knew it was me, although she couldn't see unless, of course, she peeked. My mom's good. She got me out of Twin Falls, Idaho. Before I got too old, you know how that goes. That's where she still was the summer she turned 17, 1983, 3 weeks after me. Last I heard was she had twins, but maybe it was 3, although I've never seen. That don't bother me. Yeah, got through it. Just it's a poem, man. It's more of a poem than any other song on this album. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It does not have a structure to it. It does not have verses. It does not have a chorus. It's just stream of conscious. And that's what I absolutely love about it. I think it's fucking beautiful. I guess, you know, if I had to pick out favorite lines, I love I love the reference to Heads Up, 7 Up.
Yeah.
And that's just something that any elementary kid will like immediately relate to.
Yeah.
I love that. That gets me every time. That was pretty much the thing that that hooked me on this band to begin with, was the Heads Up 7 Up reference. Because this is definitely the first song I'd heard from them.
Yeah.
And for a while I was like, I didn't even know who they were, and I was just like, I just knew this one song. And so I was like, oh man, I need to find the guys who did that song, because it's just like, you know, like I said, it's 90 seconds long, but it's a gutter punch of emotion. It's, you know, and it's especially at the end, it's like, much like We're Going to Be Friends by the White Stripes, I feel like it's one of those songs that's recounting the good times before getting to the inevitable sort of, you know, sort of melancholy ending.
Yeah.
So yes. Okay, so let's see. After that, we have Some. You want to talk about that?
Yes. I accidentally listened to the last song last time. So, to repeat what I said, it's a very nice song. It's different from the other songs in that it has heavy guitar at the beginning, and it's very melodic.
Yeah, you could say the same thing. You could basically describe the same thing what you just said to Twin Falls as well, so that's very funny.
Yes.
But yes, I agree with you. It's this is another one of the ones I don't really care for, and maybe the reason for that is because it doesn't really fit in with the rest of the songs, and I just think the formula that this album sets up and presents itself with is so rock solid to me personally that this is a little bit of it comes a little bit out of left field, just a little bit. And but you know, I do enjoy the heavy guitar. I do very much love the message of this song. I love the fucking message of the song. That I can't express it. Just the message of like how, you know, you might feel like you don't have a friend in the world, but there's people that take notice of you. And that's something that it's like it's an everyday thing for me that's a very important lesson in my life that I should take note of more often. So anyways, on a less personal note. But nothing else to say about that?
No, not really.
Okay, now I'm very, very curious to get your opinion on this next song, because this is a song that me and my friend really could never disagree on. I love it. I think it's infectious as all hell. I think it's very poignant. My friend just could never get into it. He was always just like, I don't know, this is like one of the tracks on this album I don't really like. So, what do you think, Adventure Blue Dude, of Dystopian Dream Girl?
It's a lot different from the other songs.
Will you stop saying that?
No, it is.
But that's like three songs in a row that are, so it's like at this point, if you're
that's because before that we had like 5 songs that were.
I'm gonna say bullshit.
Well, that's because before that we had 5 songs that was like, hey, look, I'm coming in with a guitar, with a single acoustic guitar, and then a few measures in, drum's gonna come in as I wail about love for 3 hours. But it's the song's a lot different. It's a lot more rock oriented. Yeah. It's because he's actually playing an electric guitar. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah, very, very crunchy electric guitar.
Yes, yeah. I didn't get too far into it because I can't listen to a 5-minute song again here. But
do your research.
No, I did listen to the album. But
yeah, but you see, you listen to an album like once.
Yeah, I know.
When I do an album that you recommend to me,
I really should listen.
I will literally have that album on my iPod and play it every time I go on a walk.
I know.
That's my preparation.
I know. No, but I mean, it's definitely not my favorite song, but it's okay. I think really the problem with me is that it's so different from everything else. Because you get really used to everything. You really get used to the album and what it's trying to do and what it has been doing musically. And then suddenly this happens. Where, like, it kind of sounds like a different band. I mean, it's okay.
But you wouldn't put it as one of your top tracks on the album?
No.
Okay, interesting, because this is definitely my favorite track. It's funny that you say that it breaks up the pace, because I actually think it's the perfect sort of thing to come back from when you have a big, long track like Some, which just hits you over the face with all this heavy guitar and whatnot. And then, and like, it's a perfect transition for me because this song keeps the heavy guitar, but I think it also, it keeps the heavy guitar from Some, but it also sort of brings back, like, the melodic love song sort of style from earlier in the album. And so you get, like, sort of a nice mix of the sounds that the album's been going for me. And who doesn't love a David Bowie reference? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I think the chorus for this song is absolutely chilling. I think it's one of the most profound statements of love I've ever heard in music. It's, without you, there's nothing. I'm the only thing that dies. If it came down to your life or mine, I would do the stupid thing and let you keep on living. And let you keep on living. That is like the most profound line in the entire album, for all I'm concerned. Like, that line is... It gives me shivers. It's absolutely just completely the accurate emotion to what you'd experience, like, going through a relationship that's just so powerful that you just, like, lie down your life for them. Even if the other person doesn't feel the same way. And that's exactly what I think makes Dystopian Dream Girl so powerful, is that it's kind of like about a marriage that's a little bit kind of on the rocks, but the husband is still just confessing his endless love and saying, like, look, I would die for you. And so it's very powerful stuff for me. And like I said, I think stylistically, I kind of see it a little bit differently. I think stylistically, it's kind of a marriage of everything that they've been trying to go for this album.
Yeah, so, I suppose. Yeah.
All right, so then we get on to Israel's Song, not one of my favorites. You want to talk about that?
Sure. Oh.
What, does it sound different yet again?
No, it's exactly the same. No, I mean, it's weird because, like, the first half of the album is all, like, this one, like, very... It's like they had a formula to make the songs at the beginning of the album, and then halfway through production, they just said "fuck it" and started, like, adding distortion and just going ape shit. But
did it ever occur to you that that's deliberate?
I mean, it's very possible. It's very possible. I'm not questioning whether it's deliberate or not. Yeah, this one's kind of weird. It's with the fuzzy guitar at the beginning, and yeah.
Yeah, this is probably my least favorite song on the album. I do like the source material, though. I like the idea that essentially what this song's trying to convey, it's basically about a kid losing his virginity, and that being, like, a huge deal to him, but then the girl breaks his heart soon afterwards, and then it's just nothing. And so that's very powerful to me. That's another very poignant statement, and it's interesting that, once again, this is sort of like I feel like Built to Spill just had, like, sort of a checklist of different experiences.
Yeah.
Love entails, like, you know, like having a child and marriage and then this sort of stuff where it's like, you know, like teenage lust that doesn't pan out, you know, stuff like that. So I respect the source material a lot. I just think the song is just a little boring. I just like, I don't know. It's like to me, to me the guitar is a little more gritty, to tell you the truth. Like at least to me, I think they're kind of. It's fascinating, really, because in my opinion, I really do think that Some is sort of like the big kind of midpoint of the album. It's really sort of the center of the album is Some. And then I feel like after Some, the album kind of starts to wind back down, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Like, go back into the status quo that they set up in the beginning, and like I say, I do think that's pretty deliberate on their ends.
Yeah, it probably is.
Okay. So, so then we get Stab. This album, it doesn't really end. Stab's a really good song. A lot of heavy guitar. A lot of guitar work on this song. Especially at the end. The end of the song, the guitar just goes batshit crazy. It's like total like Modest Mouse, Lonesome Crowded West status. It's just like, you know.
I actually really like this song.
What?
But I actually really like this song.
Cool.
But I might be biased because I'm slightly convinced that I grew up listening to this song.
Oh my.
So. But yeah, it's a really good song. I like how it goes back into it kind of goes back into what the album started out as, and then builds into what it became.
Right.
But it's
exactly. That's a great point. Yeah, it's it really kind of, you know, really the stylistic decisions that Built to Spill had, you know, all kind of like come to a head with this one song. And I think that's a great point. Again, not my favorite. I like with this album, I definitely think my favorites are all pre-Some. Well, no, actually, my favorite song of the album is Dystopian Dream Girl. Like, if I had to pick three favorites, it would probably be Car, Dystopian Dream Girl, and Twin Falls. So, you know, but that isn't to say that the last two songs on the album are bad. And I think with this discussion, it does kind of warrant sort of an interesting little thought process here. That I do think that Built to Spill really took a lot of time to nail down exactly what the tone was, exactly what the pace of this thing was going to be, and what the song structure was, what the sound was. And I really, like, actually, the more we talk about it and the more that you're seeing, like, oh, these songs have kind of the same structure and then they kind of break off, I'm like, yeah, you're right. That's kind of interesting. So I'm kind of into it.
Yeah.
And then let's see. So after that song, did you get the preview?
Yes. That's my favorite track on the album. It's like one of those Beatles songs where it changes to a different, like it's one song but it changes to a different motif like every few minutes. I really like it. Yeah.
So basically it's like Phil Eck, the producer of the album, he comes out and he's like, Phil Eck here, and this is a preview of the new Built to Spill record. You know, very radio DJ-ish.
Yeah.
And I've actually got all the songs written down. So so they're not like it's not like one song. It's supposed to be like different samples.
Yeah.
And so it starts off with a punk song that's just basically like, kick you in the head, and then I'll kick you in the head. Kick you in the head, and then I'll kick you in the head. And then breaks into a very bass heavy. I almost feel like this is kind of like a Pixie style song, and it's like, ho 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 ho, you hurt my love. and then the next one is like very much like a Green Day sort of pop punk song, and it's just like, I'm lost inside this angst inside of me. Look inside of me. You know, basically, it's just like It's just repeating like "Look Inside of Me" over and over again. And then finally we have a man needs loving, a woman needs a man to love. So I'll hold on to you, my midnight star. And oh my god. And then and then at the very end you have that cartoon voice, look for the record with me on it. Just the whole thing is just absolutely absurd comic humor. It's delicious. It's great. I love it. You know, especially because it kind of goes without saying that Built to Spill probably would never be caught dead writing a punk song or a country love ballad.
Yeah.
And I just love that it's like, I almost feel like it's sort of a commentary on where their career was going at the time, because their first album, which is called Alternate Alternative Waivers, say that 3 times fast, their first album, very much kind of in the vein of like a Pink Floyd, like early Pink Floyd sort of stuff, you know, very spacey, very drawn out, not a lot of structure to it. And then this comes out, which is kind of the opposite. You know, it's structured as all hell, and we've been talking a lot about that. So I almost feel like this preview is almost like a tongue-in-cheek, like, yeah, we know we're kind of experimenting with our sound, and it's not quite, like, rock solid yet. And in the end, I definitely think the band as a whole decided to go in a more Pink Floyd-y direction than this. But I think to me that's what makes this album sort of stand out even more in their catalog, because it's the simple album. It's the one that doesn't have any fucking 8-minute drawn out bass heavy existential songs. And I love those type of songs as much as the next guy. I'm just saying, like, the songs that are present here and just the overall mood and motifs and structure to this whole thing is just so pleasant, and it's just so, like, I don't know, because it's like, how many bands have made albums that are just love songs? It's obviously that's one of the most cliche things to do.
I was gonna say, yeah.
But the fact that Built to Spill did it, and they actually managed to make something of a concept out of the love songs, I think is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So, like I said, my 3 favorite tracks are Twin Falls, Car, and Dystopian Dream Girl. Least favorite track, oh boy, I probably... as much as I like the subject matter, I'd probably have to say either... I think Israel Sun is probably the most boring on a structural standpoint, and I think The Source is probably just the most stereotypical and forgettable. What about you? What's your favorite and least favorite?
I don't know about least favorite, but favorite would probably be Reasons, because I've listened to it so much.
Okay.
Yes. In terms of least favorite, I'd probably say Israel Sun as well.
Israel Sun. All right.
It's kind of just meh.
It just gets a little repetitive. It's just like they say, like, someone snapped him in half, like about 10 times, and it's just like, yeah, we get it. He had sex, and now he's heartbroken. Woo-hoo. Yeah. Any other things to say about, like, just the album in general and, like, what you think about it? You want to give it, like, a score out of 10 or anything like that?
A score out of 10? I mean, it's a good album. I wouldn't say it's amazing. It's not an album that I would listen to and say, holy shit, this is entirely game-changing. But it's good.
It wasn't that way for me either. I think part of the charm for me is that it's so simplistic.
Yeah. I'd probably give it a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10.
6.5 or 7? All right.
I like a 6.8.
Okay, I'd probably give it about a 9, personally. It's interesting when we do these albums because it's like, obviously, it's kind of the point of 21st century music, because it's like, obviously, like, you and me are gonna have different levels of familiarity with this music, and so I feel like with 21st century music, kind of the fun of it is sort of comparing and contrasting our different musical tastes against one another and our favorite albums. So that's really what it's become. So at least interesting discussions. So I hope you at least enjoyed kind of discovering Built to. I actually do think that if you looked into some of Built to Spill's more Pink Floydy stuff, like I'd recommend the album Perfect from now on.
Okay.
I do think you'd appreciate it more than I would.
Okay.
Any last words, or you pretty much covered it?
I pretty much, yeah.
All right, well, that'll do it. We'll actually be right back. We're recording 2 videos tonight, and what's the next review we're going to do in Vegetable Dude?
After the one that we're doing, or?
After the one that... No, the next review...
The next review would be Mandatory Fun by Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh, yes. And we basically decided we were going to review this the day it came out, so...
Yeah.
We're
a bit late to the party, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It's time to sink in the album all the more.
Yeah.
All right, so look for that in the near future, and keep rocking on, everyone.